right, friends, it's T-Men. We're back with a new video. And yeah, it looks like Blaha is doing a video on Mike Metzer wins wisdom. Okay, I don't know about Mike Metzer having any wisdom. I know that he injected plant genetics to for cosmetic phony cosmetic look. That's all temporarily to cause a temporary cosmetic fake look. So anyways, yeah, let's review the gym, lifting, gear, fitness, recruiting slave himself, Jason Blaha, the lifting slave. All right, let's see what Blaha says. I'm going to do a reaction video to this. Blaha says, thoughts on Mike Metzer, what he got right and wrong. Well, he got everything wrong, so.
What are my current thoughts on Mike Metzer in 2024?
Mike Metzer never trained, how should I put it? He was never a normal lifter. He was a drug lifter, a drug addict, a fake drug addict lifter. Get it? For cosmetic purposes only.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat.
So if you think any of his shit is going to work on somebody that hasn't taken drugs, well, good luck with that. Get it? If you want to look like Mike Metzer, then take what he did. Do what he did. You understand me? It's really simple. If you want to be rich like the rich guy driving a Ferrari across the street, do what he did. Sell shit, make a lot of money, and buy a Ferrari, dude.
With you guys and gals a little bit about this today.
Stop trying to make fake Ferraris and pretend that you're rich by wearing some clothes that you bought at the Gap. All right?
And, you know, I'm going to kind of update my stance on this, and it is
Here's another thing. You have to stop, like Blaha, you have to stop pretending that you're big by getting fat. And then losing all that fat and getting really skinny now like him. Pretending that he's jacked in an extra small Old Navy t-shirt.
Popular question, because apparently Metzer and HIIT are back in vogue in a lot of circles. There's regained some popularity. There's been a research.
As far as I know, in building muscle, and building strength, which they go hand in hand. Building myofibulars will make you stronger. So you don't need to practice at lifting a heavy weight if you focus on building myofibular growth instead of sarcoplasmic. So myofibular is astronomically high. It's a different kind of training. It's based on EIMD training. I've talked about it before. It's based on exercise-induced muscle damage training. It is not based on a progressive overload or eating a bunch of carbohydrates, fake artificial carbs to blow up your muscles artificially with carbohydrates, glycogen. Okay, dude? Because the sarcoplasm is not regulated by follistatin, myostatin, nor is it regulated by the satellite cell or these nuclei, okay? So your body can load a lot of glycogen in the form of carbs, which you're eating, a drug-induced diet called carbohydrates, a plant diet. So can natural people get massively huge? Yes, by eating a lot of carbs. Can steroid people get huge like that? Yes. Now, can you get that cosmetic look that steroid people have? You as a normal lifter? No, you have to take the drugs. Okay, dude? If you want to look like that.
Surgeons and a lot of that. This tends to go in circles, by the way. And therefore, I've had people start asking me.
Again, his training was not geared towards the IMD training, dude. Get it? It's based on eccentric exercise. And like I've said before, it's either extreme exercise will get this damage, or unaccustomed, untrained, unfamiliar forms get that damage. That's the only things that get that damage to come back. And it can happen with a repeated bout. It's really simple, okay?
Hey, you know, what are your thoughts on Metzer these days and his stuff the longer you've been coaching? And here's the thing. I feel like a resurgence in looking at what Metzer had to say is largely a response to the extreme end of the evidence-based fitness and bodybuilding world, to where you have a single circle of coaches and researchers who have been pushing out ridiculous volume suggestions that are probably not effective for most people, and to be quite frank, are not even effective for the people who are promoting them. You know, in other words, some of these people in clothes don't even look like they lift, okay? Even though they've been doing this for many, many, many years and are researchers in these fields, you know, who push these crazy high volumes. And yet we also see plenty of people who are natural or very mildly enhanced who are crazy jacked on low volumes and hard training, and we've always seen that. Now, I digress, and let me point out that there are people who do extremely high volumes of training who are still jacked, okay? They they do exist, and it's not an ineffective method. But here's the thing, what a lot of people have realized, that the time commitment of that sort of stuff starts to look kind of ridiculous. And I think that's something that we do have to address in these conversations, because when both of these methods seem to be quite effective, the much lower volume, high intensity training versus the higher volume, yes, there's going to be some personal preference. There's going to be some of that, but people are also going to look at time commitment. Like, can I just work harder and spend less time doing it so I can get on with my life and do other stuff? Because I'm trying to get the gains, but I have a busy life. And I think that's kind of a big deal here, isn't it? Because not everyone wants to train for hours and hours and hours.
I already told you how to get the gains. It's relatively a short period of time to build muscle. It can happen within a few months. That's it. You'll be in positive nitrogen balance, focus on eccentric, and focus on doing what I said before previously. Exercise-induced muscle damage training. That training is not based on, I gotta lift a heavy weight, be the best lifting in the gym, bros. Get it? Doesn't work like that.
Now, some people benefit from it. There could be a conditioning into it, and for some athletes, I think it's great for that. That's for definitely the conditioning side. But in terms of just gaining muscle, yeah. So let's talk briefly about my thoughts on Metzer. I think
Metzer was the stupidest lifter in the world. He was crazy, actually.
Metzer got everything right. The evidence for that.
He took drugs and he went nuts and tried to pretend like he knew something about building muscles. What an idiot.
It's clear. So we need to be clear. Metzer was kind of
and the people that listen to him are just as stupid as he is.
A pioneer in his era.
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
No, he wasn't.
Introduced a lot of ideas and concepts.
No, he wasn't. Anybody can inject steroids, providing they're real, and you'll get the same look. Like all the rest of those bodybuilders, they all look the same.
That caused an entire shift in the whole paradigms and parts of the bodybuilding community. Produced some.
It's not based on myofibrillar growth. It's sarcoplasmic. That's all he built. Nothing. That's why it went away when they go off the drugs. It goes away.
Successful Mr. Olympians like Dorian Yates. Okay. Produced a lot of people, I noticed when I was younger, who were crazy jacked, who fell into those styles of training, who didn't even compete, and still had phenomenal physiques. I knew people like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? The basic methodology obviously works of going with very high intensity and lower volumes. It absolutely works. It's been displayed in the real world over and over. And there work.
It doesn't work like that. Not myofibrillar growth. Maybe sarcoplasmic training, but not myofibrillar. I've done video after video about it, man. It gets tiring.
Studies showing it until this other group of people, and the studies have.
I've used proof. I put in my community section. I've done videos on it. I've done it on my old channel. I've done it on this channel. Talked about it, a lot about it, and I don't know. I guess Blaha still doesn't get it.
We've been kind of split on that. So the thing I would point out there, though, is that modern exercise science, in terms of hypertrophy, is still just not that good.
It is good. It is good. I use the real science. What are you talking about? The thing is, it's all real. It's sarcoplasmic myofibrillar, but the training is totally different for each one. For progressive overload, that's different training. You're adapted. Sarcoplasmic training, well, it's based on eating glycogen. And myofibrillar, it's based on positive nitrogen balance and unaccustomed, untrained, unfamiliar forms and extreme exercises. And they can't be done with repeated bouts. That's all.
It just isn't. Okay?
It just is.
Stuck in traffic, it's
not that good. It just is.
The science is good. It is good. He's lying. The science for him, look how small he looks there. His little arms.
Isn't. Okay? It just isn't. And there's a lot of problems with
it. Just is.
With the methodology, with the samples.
No, there's no problem with it. Blaha knows. He's seen my videos. He's lying to you. He wants to make you believe that.
Sizes with the bias. So we can't always take it at face value, and we do have to look at the anecdote also and see what has worked for people. It is important. So with Metzer, things things I think he got right. Most people
Right.
were doing simply way too much training, way more than was necessary in his era.
That's life.
But I want people to keep in mind the way Metzer trained for his Mr. Olympia almost wins is not what he advocated later in life with the crazy low volumes and very drawn out frequencies.
Yeah.
So
All of his training is sarcoplasmic training. That's all of his training. That's what it was. Sarcoplasmic, dude.
we do need to be clear on that. But was his original preface correct that it's simply too much training for most people and that they can gain just as much muscle?
Okay, how does lifting a weight build a muscle? How do you build it? You lift a weight and then what? There's a window for protein synthesis? Okay, you say there's a window, right? You lift weights. Okay, why aren't you getting bigger? You're protein synthesizing, aren't you? You're eating protein after all your workouts. So if that was true, if you could lift a weight and eat, and then there's a window for protein synthesis and you could just keep getting bigger and bigger, why aren't you getting bigger? Why are you getting bigger? Want to know why? Because it's based on getting nuclei. That is through something called hyperplasia. A hyperplasia effect has to happen, but it happens through muscle damage. You damage muscles, and then there's a hyperplasia effect. And then the satellite cell donates its nuclei to support further muscle growth in that domain. Without that, it ain't donating it. So you being adapted lifting, you're not getting any muscles. He's not building muscles. He's lifting every day in the garage. Why isn't Blaha getting bigger? Getting bigger and bigger and bigger. He's eating a lot of garbage. Doesn't he eat garbage? I know. So why isn't he getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger? See what I mean? You have to question that.
Sometimes with a third or a fourth of the sort of training volumes that were being advocated. Yeah, absolutely. Train harder.
Yeah, that's it. Just train harder, man. Really, people are out to lunch. They really don't understand anything about bodybuilding, bro. They're really far. They're really gone. This is funny.
Do I think he was right that getting really close to muscle failure or to muscle failure can have very pronounced effects on hypertrophy, particularly if you don't want to spend hours and hours in the gym lifting? I think so.
Hours and hours and hours in the gym lifting. You don't need to go hours and hours in the gym to lift. To do what? To break down proteins? That's just stupid.
Do I think his focus on general good form?
Look, if you had nuclei, you could come in literally to the gym and do one long set of, let's say, a heavy weight of 20 repetitions per each muscle group and leave the gym. And then you could synthesize protein, and then that domain would increase in size, wouldn't it? But it's not, because you don't have your fibers. They don't have any more nuclei. There's no more additional nuclei. They need more nuclei so that they can get bigger. They can hypertrophy, but they can't hypertrophy because without them you can't synthesize protein. You need them to synthesize protein to further that domain. But that domain has a ceiling limit. You understand me? A ceiling limit during what? Okay, when they say a ceiling limit during hypertrophic process, they mean when you first came into the gym, you were untrained, so you got that damage, and then it reaches a ceiling limit. So what do you need to do to get more of these nuclei? You need to do the exact same thing you did previously in the gym. Untrained, first training, satellite cell fusion, and boom. Look, I'll explain this, man. One more time, I'm going to do it, and that's it in this video. So this is sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. It occurs when the volume... Hold on a second. Maybe I can... No, computer's not going to say anything. Sarcoplasmic occurs when the volume of sarcoplasmic fluid in your muscle cells increases. This type of hypertrophy increases volume, but not the size of the number of the muscle fibers. Thus, it doesn't improve in performance. It doesn't. Okay, so...
According to NCBI, a unique feature of eccentric exercise is that untrained subjects become stiff and sore the day afterwards because of damage to muscle fibers.
Yeah, and when the muscles are damaged, the satellite cell comes out of quiescence, and it's able to donate its nuclei to that domain. You get it? That's what it does. Yeah. Yeah.
According to NCBI, an increase in myonuclei in adult muscle fiber was observed during a power exercise, experimental working hypertrophy, and post-atrophic reloading. 26, 31 to 33. The new nuclei in a fiber can be provided only by the fusion of satellite cells with the muscle fiber.
See that? The new nuclei in the fiber can only be provided by fusion of satellite cells with the muscle fiber. So, look, man. We go back here where we were. All right. A unique feature of eccentric exercise is that untrained subjects become stiff and sore the day afterwards because of what? Damage to muscle fibers. Okay. So let's go here. So you know this, myonuclei acquired by what? Overload exercise precedes hypertrophy, non-lost on day training. And no, it's not. I have to do nuclei overload exercise 30 days in a row every single day. It doesn't work like that, dude. I told you it's based on muscle damage. It's not based on I gotta exercise and these nuclei are gonna magically appear. It has to be through fusion of the satellite cell right here. Notice what it tells you. What does it tell you here? Oh, look what it says there. It says untrained first training. Notice there at the bottom, it says untrained. Then it says first training. Oh, satellite cell fusion. See that? Satellite cell fusion. What's a unique feature of untrained muscles, dude? How do you activate the satellite cell to fuse to that myofiber? And now they can hypertrophy over there. See that at the top? But then notice there's not like billions of them. They just keep coming out forever. They don't just keep they differentiate into myoblasts. Once those myoblasts fuse with the fiber, they don't split and divide anymore. Here's the thing with nuclei. They're post-mitotic. They do not split, divide, and increase in number because you are lifting slave in the gym, lifting away. Get it? The growth is based on myonuclei. Okay. What is the satellite cell? It donates its nuclei to that domain. So notice here, untrained first training, right? Right? This is muscle damage. Because why? Because a unique feature of what? Because a unique feature of eccentric exercise is that untrained subjects become stiff and sore the next day afterwards because of what? Damage to muscle fibers. And if muscle fibers are damaged, what happens? What happens when they're damaged?
According to Medline Plus, when muscle is damaged, a protein called myoglobin is released into the bloodstream. It is then filtered out of the body by the kidneys. Myoglobin breaks down into substances that can damage. According to university hospitals, microtears are what happen after a muscle gets physically worked, Dr. Carnes says. Once these occur, the body sends good nutrition and good blood to the area to heal. This, in turn, is how you grow musculature.
Okay, so okay, it's infusion beyond. Hold on a second. Do satellite cells donate nuclei? Yeah, they do. Here. Following proliferation, satellite cells differentiate and either fuse with each other, forming new fibers, fuse to an existing muscle fiber, donating their nucleus to that fiber, thereby allowing muscle fiber hypertrophy or return back to their quiescent state. Yeah. So,
According to Physiopedia, satellite cells are activated through various signaling pathways as a response to exercise.
Yeah.
According to NCBI, upon muscle injury, a combination of signals is generated by damaged myofibers, blood vessels, and immune cells to wake up the quiescent satellite cells. The activated satellite cells also signal back to the environment to orchestrate orderly muscle regeneration. Fig.
There you
1.
go. So, what activates the satellite cell? Upon muscle injury, that activates what? It wakes up the quiescent satellite cells. Okay. What do satellite cells do when they're injured, when they wake up, when they're damaged? It says here damaged by damaged myofibers. So when the myofibers are damaged and they wake up the satellite cell, what does the satellite cell do? It donates its what? Nuclei to what? The myonuclear domain size limit.
According to NPR, in mammals, these extra nuclei come from stem cells called satellite cells that surround the muscle. When demands on the muscle increase, these satellite cells fuse with muscle cells, combining their nuclei and paving the way for more muscle.
Okay, one of the demands can be your fat. You're a fat dude, you've gained 500 pounds, so your body's going to have to give because it just can't manage carrying all that fat. You understand me? That's one way. It will be forced to do it, forced. Another way is through muscle damage. That's how. When the muscles are damaged, the extra nuclei from the stem cells called satellite cells are donated. They're donated to that domain to support what? Further muscle growth. Get it? See what I mean? Yeah. Like in myonuclear domain size limit. Yeah, dude. To support further muscle growth, you need more of it. So I don't know what to tell you there, dude. Yeah. These are all good. I don't know. So there you go. Signaling pathways, myonuclear excretion related to training-induced muscle fiber hypertrophy, whatever. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you there, dude. Micro tears, that's a good one too, healing. I like these, man. These are all really good. These are interesting. But anyways, all right. So you get the picture, dude. That's how real muscles are built. Anyways, let's go back here because I'm spending too much time here now.
Full range of motion were good ideas, yes. Keeping in mind, a lot of the champions at the time, even Arnold, were known for their really loose, sloppy form.
Yeah, because they're taking drugs. They don't care. It's cosmetic. It's fake. You could have done anything, and you would look like that.
Right, Arnold Schwarzenegger did not train with good form.
No, he didn't.
I think to overuse injuries and stuff.
He doesn't have to train with good form. Good form has nothing to do with damaging muscle fibers. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're more likely
You have to focus on the eccentric, but good form doesn't matter shit, dude.
to get hurt. With a lot of theories, and some of them have a set of issues going on there. There were results on these systems.
Yeah.
The idea there was, let's train really, really hard. Focus on progressive overload.
Let's train really, really hard. Focus on progressive overload. Nowhere in exercise-induced muscle damage is the training focused on progressive overload. It says a unique feature of eccentric exercise is that untrained muscles get stiff and sore the next day due to what? Muscle damage. Untrained, first training, satellite cell fusion, donates its nuclei to that domain and boom, get it. Hypertrophy, yeah. Now what do you need to do to get them to come back again, an additional graduate to the next level? Well, you're going to have to repeat that cycle again. Get it? Yeah.
Focus on progressive overload tension. Do only the number of sets you need to really maximize growth and push those sets to the bleeding edge, and then get out of the gym and go.
Yeah, just push him to the edge and just get out of the gym. Do it every single day. Maybe come twice a day, dude. I know one guy, he was coming in twice a day to the gym. He was just all pumped up with sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. He was silly. He was so stupid, man. Didn't know anything about bodybuilding.
Recover.
Okay.
It's a pretty effective method, and it produces some thick, dense, hard physiques.
Yeah, sure it does. Dense, hard physiques it produces. Without those nuclei, ain't gonna produce jack shit. Get it, dude?
And that's one of the things that's been noticed when you focus even on that style of training, is that potential for density.
You can sit there forever and say whatever you want. He can ramble off things, but body does the talking, and his body says zero growth, bro. Zero. There's zero growth there.
Some stuff possibly with myofibula.
Zero. He has zero growth. This is his normal body. This was what it looks like. Ugly. It looks ugly. His back is ugly. His chest, his front, everything is ugly looking. That's all. He's trying to lower his body fat, but it isn't that low.
Or growth and all of that. Been a lot of topic with those things over the years.
As far as all the veins and everything, that's because the steroids he's taking are toxic. It's toxicity, the TRT, it's toxic. And so when you keep lifting every day in the gym, like repetitive lifting, like crazy, adapted, yeah, their veins will start popping out. This is actually a bad thing. That's actually a bad thing to have so many veins coming. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's not the best thing, but you know, I don't know.
Seen everyone from Minnow to Lyle McDonald discuss that.
Minnow? Who gives a shit about Minnow? He's nobody. Look at Blaha. He's got nothing here. There's nothing going on.
But yeah, so in reality, Metzer and his way was.
All of his exercise are all concentric. Did you notice they're all concentric? Look at this. Even look at his calves, what he's doing. It's concentric. There's no eccentric work here.
Brilliant. He was ahead of his time, but due to limitations, the ability to.
His squats, everything. It's all useless. Look at his squats here. Useless squats.
Buy into those exact systems. Just the idea. But the idea there was,
look,
let's train really, really hard.
See?
Focus on progressive over.
He went halfway down from top to bottom, but he didn't go all the way down and come and meet himself to the midpoint. No, he went from top to bottom midpoint. He didn't go all the way down, so he didn't get any eccentric. He got concentric only. He's just wasting his time. This is sarcoplasmic. This is endurance exercise. Everybody knows concentric movements are associated with endurance exercise, and I'll prove it. If you run up a stairwell in a building, if you run up the stairs, you're not going to damage any myofibrillars in your muscle fibers because it's based on a stopping motion. You're going to get really tired running up those stairs. That's what's going to happen to you. That's why you're all lifting slaves. I can prove that everybody is a lifting slave in the gym because all your movements are based on concentric, you're adapted, and you're just getting tired. And then when you are an endurance athlete running up stairwells, what do athletes do that are endurance athletes running up stairs, running up mountains and everything? They glycogen load, yeah. And so you're going to glyco load a lot, and your muscles are going to blow up through glycogen loading. Get it? Because you're lifting a weight. You're targeting each muscle. It's glyco loading, dude. It's called artificial sarcoplasmic hypertrophy growth. Get it, dude? See, you are all nice gym slaves lifting in there. Endurance athletes. Get it? Now, if you run down a stairwell, well, that's associated with eccentric movement. The down portion going with gravity is always eccentric, and you can always do more on it. So there's a stretch going on your legs running down the stairs, and it's not based on endurance. Why? Because energy doesn't take a lot of energy to run down a stairwell, but it takes a hell of a lot of energy to run up a stairwell, dude. Get it? So keep doing that full range. Enjoy yourself with those concentric exercises, my friends. I gotta go. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. This is boring, broski.
Limitations, the ability to measure stuff correctly and fully apply the scientific method. I don't think he got everything right, but I think he
didn't get anything right. Okay, shut up, man. All right, the guy was a drug addict like you. I'll see you in the next one. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. See you later, man. This is boring.